So, I will go ahead and call this meeting to order, the January 24th regular meeting of the Sacramento Area Sewer District, Northern California Sanitation Agency's Financing Authority, and ask for a roll call, please.
Good morning, Member Aquino. Here. Frost. Here. Karpinski Costa.
Present.
Sulpizio Hull. Here. Cerna.
Here.
Swen.
Here.
Vang.
Here.
Villegas.
Here.
And Chairperson Hume.
Great, thank you. Will you join my colleague, Mr. Cerna, in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. And now, Madam Clerk, if you would please read everything that you need to read at this point.
Yes, and please forgive me, I forgot to call Member Valenzuela during the roll call. This meeting of the Sacramento Area Sewer District is being broadcast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T Uverse cable systems. This meeting is closed captioned and live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will replay Sunday, January 28th at 9 a.m. on channel 14. This meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com/Metro Cable 14. In accordance with Government Code 54952.3, compensation for meeting of these legislative bodies is required to be verbally disclosed. The amount of $100 will be paid for each member participating today as a member of the Sacramento Area Sewer District. Compensation for the Sacramento County Supervisors and City of Sacramento Council members is paid to the county and city respectively to partially offset the cost of those governments. Compensation for other board members is delivered to the individuals. To make an in-person public comment, please complete a speaker request form located at the back of the room and hand it to the clerk. The chairperson will call your name when it is your turn to make a comment. You may send written comments by email to boardclerk@saccounty.gov. Your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record, and that concludes my announcements.
Great, thank you. In that case, that brings us to the first item on our agenda, which is a closed session item, and so the board will adjourn into the meeting room upstairs, and then we'll be back for the open session.
It's
Well,
in hearing room 1, sir.
Up
Sorry.
these
yes,
stairs.
Thank you. Sorry. Yes.
There are stairs, and it is slightly up. This is a lively bunch this morning. I'm just letting you know. There's a lot of sidebar chatter going on, so we obviously don't see each other often enough, and Happy New Year to those that we haven't seen. So we'll come back into open session now, nothing to report out of closed session, and we will go directly into the consent matters, but I do want to note for the rest of the board that we were going to switch the order of items 9 and 10. One is an informational item and one is an action item, so we'll take the action item first to make sure that we preserve a quorum. All right, so with that, the district consent matters, please. Items 1 through 6.
Move approval.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Does anybody wish to discuss an item? No, in that case, is a roll call vote sufficient? Excuse me, a voice vote?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Consent passes. And now we will move on to public comment for items not on the agenda. Is there anybody wishing to address the board, something that's not regularly agendized?
I do not have any speaker request forms.
Okay.
I do not see anyone in chambers. And I'd just like to recognize that Council Member or Director Talamontes is also here in the meeting, in attendance.
As is Director Kaplan.
Yes. Sorry.
As is who's the third one?
And Director Robles.
And Director Robles.
Okay.
And
Thank
hopefully
you.
nobody else shows up, because I think we're just about as tight as we can be on the dais. Is there a chair open on the other side of you? Okay, we got room for one more if they get here. Okay, on to item number 8, please.
Item number 8 is a miscellaneous director and district engineer matters.
Good morning. This will be really quick. I don't have any updates other than to say we will have our next meeting, which is on February 14th. So happy Valentine's Day. That's it.
Okay, then that brings us on to item number 10.
And number 10 is the proposed industrial rate adjustments and authorization to proceed with the Proposition 218 process for the Sacramento Area Sewer District.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Chair and members of the board. My name is Linda Stevens. I'm Environmental Program Manager of the Wastewater Source Control Section. We're in the Policy and Planning Department. Our section permits the industrial customers. We regulate them and bill them. And today we'll talk about the Prop 218 approval for the proposed industrial rates. Last fall, you may recall, we presented on residential commercial rates for a 3-year period, and Prop 218 was approved for that, and today is the industrial customer. So we'll talk a little bit about who the industrial customers are, the previous and proposed rate adjustments, our notification and outreach process. We'll have time for questions at the end, but also at each slide, if you have any, feel free. Notice this photo is Campbell's Soup. They no longer are here, and some of those buildings are no longer here. But we do have a resident photographer in our agency that takes good black and white photos. That tower is a water treatment plant. That's one of our permittees. Who are the industrial customers? It's a small group, and it's not defined by zoning or land use codes. It's defined by our ordinance. They have to have a permit by our section, which administers the pretreatment program, and they receive the industrial rates and fees. There's about 90 permits. We're small compared to other sewer agencies because we have a light industrial area. We don't have a lot of heavy industry in our region. There's 90, about 70 are large corporate entities or governments, and then there's 20 that are local small businesses. A lot of them are bottlers, food processors. There's a couple chemical industries, soap and detergent, and metal finishers. EPA will tell us a few of them that need to be permitted, like metal finishers, and the others qualify based on their flows or loads that might impact the sewer in some way. This map shows the collection systems and the distribution of our customers that are industrial. The table on the left is listing cities on the left. In the middle, the count of who receives both rate increases or changes, collection and treatment areas. The column on the right are those in the treatment-only service area, so like Folsom, West Sac. And then we have 6 that are hauled directly. So they will only be receiving treatment adjustments. Any questions? Another unique difference about industrial customers is how they're billed. You may be familiar with the ESD, the equivalent single-family dwelling unit. Residents and commercial businesses are billed by ESDs, but industrial customers are billed by wastewater components. And our section receives all the data, does all the billing, and sends it over to CUBS, and CUBS bills for both treatment and collections. So the table at the bottom has the different components. There's 5, and the treatment service area bills for all 5, and the Sac Sewer collection system bills for only 2. And I'll refer to these acronyms. So there's flow, the BOD is the biochemical oxygen demand, TSS is total suspended solids, TKN represents the nitrogen component, and pathogens, which are primarily from domestic flows, and they're also measured through a flow measurement. So like again, the treatment service area bills for all 5. So if you're in both service areas, you'll get rates for flow and TSS in both areas. Now each customer is unique. So they're measuring their data. They're all going to have different amounts of each component, and that's what's unique about how the rates will impact them. Why are rate adjustments needed? All of our customers are subject to the same financial pressures. These were presented last fall. So inflation has impacted the labor, construction, electricity. The chemical costs are still high. The table on the right has the 5 components. In the middle is the treatment costs, and on the right are the collection costs. The arrows represent where the costs are headed in the first year. And this is the silver lining. So the flow, BOD, and TSS in the treatment service area are actually going down. So the rates go down. TKN and pathogens are headed up in the treatment service area. And this really represents a shift in where the costs are. So the costs are shifting from flow and BOD over to TKN and pathogens. TKN and pathogens are primarily driven by the Echo Water facility, and that remains a main cost. And on the SAC sewer side, on the collection side, the costs are going up for flow and TSS. And so you can see if you have a lot of flow or solids, your costs might go up on the collection side, but they're going to be minimized by the reduction on the treatment side. And so that's the good news, is that there's this balance and the impacts are not as big as they could be. This table is in the board letter. This represents the rates that we're asking for approval on the Prop 218 process for. The top table is the treatment, and the bottom table is the collection system. The gray column represents where we're at now, and the 3 columns to the right are the proposed adjustments. The good news is 2/3 of our customers will either have a 0 change in their bill or even a reduction because of the change in the flow and BOD going down. So only 1/3 of the customers will see an increase. Any questions? The next slide shows how we compare to other systems, whether it's treatment and collections both, which is the top set of rows. The middle represents looking at our neighbors' collection system rates, Folsom, City of Sac, West Sac. And then the bottom rows are for treatment only, how we compare. And the darker row is where we're at. And so we're low, actually, compared to others, similar agencies and our neighboring agencies. And this is for the unit of measure, so using the 1 million gallons or 1,000 pounds. And so this shows that our region is still affordable as far as sewer rates go. So like I mentioned before, there's only 1/3 of our customers that are going to see an increase. And in the first year, it'll range from 5 to 20%. If they're in the treatment service area only, they'll see a decrease. I'm sure they'll appreciate that. If they're in both systems, they might see a small increase. The Prop 218 process is similar for all of our customers. We will direct mail a letter to the property owner and the business. They'll have access to our website for the updates. Each industry is assigned an inspector, so they have a direct line of communication with our section. If they have any questions, we'll receive all their protests and concerns. We'll have an outreach meeting, and the same with all customers. We'll notify them before each year's change.
Yeah, just if I could, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just real quickly, I wanted to understand in the graphic that you just had previously, I think I understand because you said unit of measurement, but in West Sacramento's case, the 4,200 associated costs, is that, I know there's eight industrial sites, I think is what the earlier said. Is that just because of the unit, the volume itself? There's not a lot of collection systems, so the cost per is higher? The other collection systems in our area charge by 100 cubic feet of flow. So West Sacramento charges based on a water meter usage, and it's by 100 cubic feet. And that unit price is higher than ours if we converted it into 100 cubic feet. We're charging
For the collection system, the flow and TSS, and it's still lower. So I took like 1 million gallons of flow and used that to figure out those numbers. So 1 million gallons of flow per month would be the 4,000 for those industries. They're billed by WestSac directly.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So I think I went through all the Prop 218 process. That's what we're here for today. For industrial users, this is the schedule. We'll have the outreach performed in early February in time for the deadline for the 45-day waiting period. We'll receive all our comments and come back to the board with the ordinance amendments April 10th, with adoption on May 8th, and the rates will be effective July 1st, 2024. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. Any further questions of staff? We will note the addition of the National League of Cities president joining us here on the dais. Director Costa, you had a question?
Yeah, I have a question. How do you measure protest? Is it 50% plus one business?
Correct.
And sort of related to that, how are we going to educate that this really only negatively affects a third of our customers, given that the 218 vote, I assume, would be a vote of all residents?
Right. We will do the outreach ourselves, so we'll mail out the letters, but we also will email all of our customers, and they have a relationship with us, so we'll make sure we get all the parties involved in the businesses, and they can request a spreadsheet. So we have a test spreadsheet where they can input their flows and loads, and the rates are there, and it'll show them the next 5 years and how it'll affect them.
Great.
So just to clarify, I'm not sure I caught what you said, but there are separate processes happening. So the Prop 218 for the residential, all the residents are going to be protesting or not on that rate increase. This is only those 90 or so industrial customers that will be protesting or not. So it would be half plus one would require us to not implement the rate increase.
Okay.
Just for that small group.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Any other questions? Yes, Director Hull.
Quick question on the voting. Is it one vote per business or is it a weighted vote?
It's not weighted. It's one per one.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, do we have any public comment on this item?
I did not receive any speaker request forms, no.
Okay. Is there anybody wishing to speak on this item? Seeing no one leap out of their seat, we'll go ahead and close public comment, and we will move to a motion.
Move to approve staff recommendation.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Director Soon, a second from Director Kaplan. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, now on to item number 9. Please.
Item number 9 is One District Quarterly Report, January 2024.
Good morning. Morning, Chair Hume and board members. I'm going to have to apologize. I'm fighting a cold here, so I might have my radio voice. Also, I've noticed that I don't have a lot of pictures like the nice black and white, so I'm going to try to spice it up for next time. We have the One District Quarterly Report that for the first of this year that is basically covering the majority of the last quarter, so October through December. I'm going to be presenting first this time, and then passing it off to Mike Hewitt and Tepa Banda. So I'm probably going to be sunsetting this slide fairly soon, but I thought it was appropriate to do a quick overview. We have the One District project, which encompasses 3 different initiatives. We have the legal merger initiative, the cash reserves investment initiative. Those are both concluding or have concluded. And then we have the remaining staffing and support services transition initiative, and that is to move the labor from the county and certain support services from the county to the district. And that's what I'm going to be covering now. Late last year, the majority of our resources and time had been spent on HR activities and the labor relations activities, because those are the things that happen first in order to set us up for the activities that are occurring this year, now and up until June, July. We had your board approve the 6 employee groups in October and then amended that in December. We are working on 180 plus job classifications or class specs, and we need to have those finalized by February for the compensation study. Speaking of compensation, we have we've been working closely with Labor Council to finalize all the compensation specifics. You can imagine we're going through a lot of various resolutions that we previously had through the county and the unions, and now going to 6 groups, we're having to kind of adjust that and simplify it. We also have the compensation policy that is going to your board next month, and we have a compensation study. We had an RFP go out. We got 7 respondents, I think 7, and we are evaluating them shortly, and we should be coming to the board for a compensation study consultant next month. So a lot is coming next month and March and April. We also have the personnel policies, that's the employment policies. As you can imagine, we have a lot of county policies that we follow as county employees, and then we have regional SAN policies, and then we have Sacramento Area Sewer District policies, and then we had ones that did for both districts. So we're trying to simplify that into one employee manual with all the policies located. Then we have the benefits resolution. We've done a lot of work in this. This is obviously very important for staff and really lines us up for the success of this transition. We've been working with Labor Council to prepare the employee groups that we have, the 6 groups, and identifying their individual benefits packages. We have identified in your board approved late last year the CalPERS medical. Also the CalPERS deferred compensation was late last year. We are now ready to present to your board next month the benefits, or what we've been calling the ancillary benefits, which is vision, dental, life insurance, all of those other benefits. All right. Another thing is the human capital management that you approved a contract for Tyler Munis late last year as well. That I'll talk a little bit more detail at a following slide, but that includes the payroll, the personnel management, and applicant tracking. That is critical component for that separation. We have the Social Security insurance. We are working through CalPERS, even though it's a federal program. CalPERS facilitates that for California. So we're working with them, and we have been working with them for the past 6 months to identify the voting process and the voting timing for staff to opt in or opt out. We also have the employee orientation and hiring activities. So I see 2 large events that are pivotal to the success of the separation. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's a lot of it's critical, but this is one where it's the employee orientation and hiring activities. So around June, July, maybe even August, that is the effort that we've been coordinating with the county to identify the appropriate process of staff resigning from the county, and then in that same packet having an offer letter, contingent offer letter from the district. We wanted to make sure that we limit the anxiety of staff. As you can imagine, you wouldn't want to have a resignation letter and then 2 weeks later have an offer letter because you're in limbo. We also have to prep for that because we want to have as much information as possible in that offer letter so staff are educated and understand what they're signing up for. No one's going to want to sign up for anything without information, including what their salary is, what their job class or specification is going to be what their benefits are. So we're going to have that in that packet. We also have to identify the DOT and DMV pull programs. We have a lot of commercial drivers that we have to transition that process over to the districts. We're looking at Tyler Munis to see what capabilities they have to run that through that system. We also have the I-9 collection and e-verification process. There's a lot of other processes that we have to make sure we identify and capture. We also have the state disability insurance and unemployment insurance that we have to work on. And I just realized I haven't been doing any of my notes here. I've been working on this for a little while. Let me go back here. What happened here? Can we reset it?
Hold on a minute.
I should have just stayed the course. Thank you.
They're trying to fix it in the back.
Okay.
Okay. What page were you on?
I can slide through. I think that's the next slide. Oh, I got it from here.
Okay, thank you.
Cool, thank you. So I talked about the establishing the employer entity. I think the last report that we did in October, we did a laundry list of things that we've identified as needing to become an employer. This is some of the things we have as the state and federal employment tax identifiers. We also have numerous state and federal labor regulation compliance components that we have to work with. One of those is the required insurance. So we have insurance, we have risk management that we have to get on board and transition. We have to identify what is the appropriate coverages. So we hired a contract risk manager with the district, and he is taking point and working closely with the risk manager for the county to look at their claims history, looking at all the things that is in that liabilities and insurance bucket, so we can have some options identified and him to have a recommendation that someone's an expert in that field. We also have many processes where we're establishing the HR services. You know, we're having to run our business. We're still county, so we're still having to go through the county processes of HR, yet we're also having to identify and start to at least set up the infrastructure and places for the HR that we're going to go to upon separation. And that includes all of the things that are in that HR bucket: discipline, labor relations, FMLA, ADA, all of that. Recruitment is another one. We are also looking at the establishment of the compensation and job classification because of how critical it is for that employee orientation, a hiring event that I talked about. We have the salary studies. Like I mentioned, that closed last Friday for the RFP, and we're under the evaluation. And we're updating the job classifications. As you can imagine, we have the county classifications. We have county verbiage in there, so we're having to clean that up, take that out. We also have old verbiage from regional sanitation. We're cleaning that up as well. Now, there's a lot more that needs to be cleaned up, but because of timing, we're only taking the kind of the easy button stuff and the critical stuff that we need to do now. We'll clean up additionally at the after the separation. We also have the benefits. You know, obviously we made some key selections for healthcare with CalPERS and deferred comp with healthcare, and we've been rolling out information sharing with staff. We just finished the health benefits late last year, 6 sessions, 2 hours long, and then a virtual session, and then we are halfway through the deferred comp information sharing session with staff. We plan on doing this with any major event that we have, and then Christoph, the GM videos, kind of does some information sharing that way as well. We also have establishing the financial autonomy. We have to shift control of our banking, our receivables, our payables, purchasing, contracts, and the budget to the district. So I mentioned previously that there's 2 major events pivotal to the success of this separation. The first one was that employee outreach and hiring event in June, July. The next one is really critical, and it's the administrative systems and processes. So these are the systems that we need to have that will replace the current process. Currently, it's Compass that we use for payroll, HR functions, recruitment that we use through the county. Luckily, we have that contract was signed late last year. We're already starting the implementation process for the HCM, and that, to go into more detail, has the payroll, the online benefits, the employee self-service. So MySac County is something that our staff use. They could look at their W-2s, they could look at their evaluations, all pertinent information. We have time entry, so that will replace our timesheet system eventually. We have automated approval workflows and implementations in progress. We've created it's kind of like an A-team, the dream team. So we have specialists in IT, we have a specialist in business analyst, we have a project manager, and now we're adding a communications professional to this group to kind of work through these processes to work with Tyler Muniz and their representative to ensure a smooth transition. I think that's going to be critical to meet our tight time frame. So as we're going through the human capital management, we have noticed that the finance management system module is very much integrated into the HCM. So if we were to go with a different company, we would lose a lot of the functionality for the HCM, and it would be a little bit clunky. So we're going to be going to your board for an addendum for the Tyler contract next month to include Tyler Muniz with the finance management system component to that. And that will greatly improve the time to get this implemented. Those two modules will be working in parallel. And then shortly after that, we'll be working with the learning management system. That's another critical application, and that is really focused on the training. So as you can imagine with our industry, there's a lot of regulatory compliance tied to required trainings. That will track, it will calendar, and that's part of that learning management system. That would go live sometime around the last pay period of the year, December 15th. Then we have the travel management company. That is TMC. We currently use Concur through the county, and we're going to have to identify what process we're going to have in place to allow staff to travel and track expenses, et cetera. So real quick, for the HCM and the FMS, we're looking to have that completed. Our goal is to have it sometime around September this year. That will allow us enough time to really work out a few timesheet entries, kind of mock, to work out any bugs or ticks that we've had. That's critical that we work that out prior to going live on that last pay period. I promise this is the final slide. So we've done a lot of work with our service level agreements, identifying the services that we're going to continue with the county. We have the real estate agreement that is completed. We have the possession and use of district assets in the county areas. That is completed as well. We have the planning and environmental review. That is close to completion. It's waiting execution. We have the customer billing and Cubs. So there is an update. I believe the county board approved that this month. So it'll go to your board next month. We have the IT DTech agreement. That's in final approvals. There was just a minor edit that we wanted to expand and define. So that is close. We also have the fueling services agreement. That's under final review. We have a construction management inspection, or CMID. That is under review. We have the finance treasury services through TEPA and Chad, the Department of Finance for the county. And then we have legal counsel and clerk of the board. We have drafts pending for that. So that concludes my presentation. Do we have any questions before I pass it on to Mike and TEPA?
Great, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Doyle? No?
Feel better.
Yeah, I
Thank
hope you
you.
feel better. And
I
thank you for
appreciate that.
powering through that. Yes, Director Talamantes.
I just want to say transitions are always hard and probably really scary for all the employees that are part of Sac Sewer. So just thank you for being mindful about their employment. You know, retention is so important in any industry just because of that knowledge. And knowing that they're going to get termination, but also an offer letter on the same day, probably puts a lot of peace at their hearts for their families. So thank you for being mindful of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Director Sander.
This is more of maybe a big picture comment, but, and I've been talking about this a lot lately in other locations, but as a city founder, you know, as one of the original city council members of Rancho Cordova, do we have any other originals here? I don't think so. But we have new cities in our region nonetheless. You guys have experience with that, people sitting at this table. But as a founder, you're basically in the same sort of seat I was. You know, on election night, there were 5 of us that got elected, not a bit of city structure there to do anything with. We had to grow everything from the ground up, you know, the 5 of us. It's not that extreme here, but the opportunities are very similar in that we were able to figure out what Rancho Cordova should do without any burden of an existing bureaucracy or procedures or, you know, 100 years of tradition sort of holding us down and back and trying to push us into, you know, the normal bureaucratic spots of let's not change anything. I really encourage you to think outside of the box, because this is maybe a single moment of complete freedom to administer and grow this agency in a way that is the most effective for our ratepayers and for our employees and for the entire region. This is kind of a one-shot deal. If we're lucky, you can establish a culture that continues to allow innovation. If we're unlucky, we slide back into a bureaucratic norm. So that's the challenge, and I just wanted to frame that a little bit for you and remind you and hopefully inspire you a little to think about, you know, the opportunity not to just do things the way they've been done, you know, and achieve that and call that success, but aim high. I mean, what is the absolute best way to operate and organize all of these required functions you just talked about? That would be my goal, to find those things and get after them.
Absolutely, totally agree. I think we're doing a good job of leveraging the users, the end users, and getting their feedback and saying, hey, if you had your wish, despite anything, what would that be and how would you do this? And we're looking at those various options and what is reasonable and what's not and the big picture. So, yeah, I appreciate that comment.
Very astute comments. Thank you. Anything else? Yeah, Director Villegas.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo, that's exactly right. Not sure if my microphone's working, but I would echo that because that's exactly right. In fact, this conversation's been ongoing for 10 plus years, and the premise by which that conversation started was exactly that. And now we're at the moment where it's actually happening. It's exciting to think that staff is actually at the moment where some of these transitions are occurring and some are already behind us. So I would 100% agree and encourage that sort of creative spirit to continue to flow. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Want my water?
Thank you, Matt. All right, next slide. A little bit down. Good morning, board, chair, members of the board. Mike Hewitt, the director of policy. Thank you, director of policy and planning. And so we have completed 2 of the 3 components of the One District project. This is a big milestone for us: the debt management and reserves, and the merger. We're one organization, one name, one board, and we have a number of the ability to manage our investments that's a little more suited to our districts now. So it's a great step forward. This project could have gone sideways many ways and could have got hung up in many different times, but we had our staff and our support group was dogged and persevered through all the obstacles that came our way, which was awesome. And also, I just want to thank your board and your trust in us and the feedback that we got from your board and the support along the way. It's really helped enable us to power through this. So I appreciate that. There's a lot more to go with the One District project, as you heard earlier from Matt, but I wanted to take some time to pause and recognize some folks who got us to the finish line with these 2 components. I'm going to start with the merger, and then I'm going to hand it over to Tep a little later on to talk a little bit about the debt management and cash reserves. So most of the people who played a key role in the merger project is sitting behind me and to my right. First, we have Dave Ochanachik right there, hand raised. Dave came out of retirement to be here today. I thank him for that. He retired early last year, but he was critical in the beginning and did a lot with the evaluation of the merger and whether or not it was a good idea for the districts. And he really kickstarted the project going forward and also established a really good relationship early on with LAFCO and set the pieces in place. Big shoes to fill. We have Dylan Mealy, who filled those shoes and did a really good job of getting on board and keeping all the balls rolling. And he played more of a QA, QC effort through the whole project, but and really finished it to the end, to the finish line. So yeah, thank you, Dylan. And then we have Liz Bonilla, who was the project manager for this. For the first half of the project, she decided to have a baby halfway through. So she was out, but she did an excellent job up until then and kind of set the stage for Viamini to take over and continue on with the project managing through the rest of the project. So thank you. And then we have Jose Ramirez and his team, Galen and Lakshmi, who spent a lot of time getting everything prepared for LAFCO. The Municipal Services Review, which is a comprehensive document describing what we do as an organization, services we provide, and the governance structure. And then they also helped with the meets and bounds descriptions. It's actually the first time the districts have had a legal meets and bounds descriptions. That was a lengthy, involved process, which included our group and LAFCO and survey consultants on both sides. So thank you. And then we have Nicole with Communications Department, and her team helped out significantly with specifically like the internet and the intranet and combining those and making them one. Beautiful. You have to take a look at the new internet when you have a chance. And then also with the external and internal communications. And then we have Tepa, Director of Finance, who was able to find a partner for our Finance Authority, JPA, which is really critical. When we merged together from 2 districts to 1, we needed an agreement between 2 parties, so we needed to look outside, and he found Central SAN to be a partner, when that enabled us to continue meeting our bond covenants and also give us the ability to do bond financing in the future. So last but not least, we have Jose Enriquez, and he's the executive director with LAFCO. And we have Desiree Fox, who's the policy analyst with LAFCO, and they were tremendously helpful throughout the process. We were able to go to them for guidance and help. And I know Desiree helped with all the day-to-day, making sure we were moving forward with all the different things we needed to do. And really, like I said earlier, this could have gone sideways at many times throughout the process. It didn't, and that's just because staff was on top of it and continued with their, were persistent to move everything forward. So thank you all. With that, yeah. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tepa.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. So I'll just continue on where Mike left off. Unfortunately, I was not lucky enough to bring all the people behind the debt management and cash reserves, but I will call them out and acknowledge the roles they played in this. So for those of you who are new, I'll just give a little background. So the cash reserves initiative was an initiative where the district decided to take some of the funds that we have with the county treasurer and invested in the local investment fund, to take those out, invest them separately, because our investment objectives for those funds don't align with the county's objective for the local investment fund. The local investment fund for the county is a short term. They invest with a view to withdrawing money within a year. Our cash reserves are long-term reserves. We can invest them for 3 or up to 5 years, if not longer. And so the objectives of the county fund didn't work. So that was the genesis of the cash reserves initiative. And it started before I joined the district. I joined the district in December 21, And at that time, a few things had already been accomplished. So the first person I would like to acknowledge is Glenn Iwamura. He was acting in this position when a few of those things started. So to establish the district's ability to invest funds on its own, we had to have an investment policy to guide that. And there had to be authority given to this position to manage those funds. So those decisions were carried out before I joined. The investment policy was drafted. Glenn oversaw that process and was adopted by this board, I believe, in July of 21. And along with that, we have Randy Wolf. Unfortunately, Randy Wolf his wife is not doing well, so we have prayers for him and his family. But he was our project manager on the cash reserves as well as the debt management. So he was the point man in getting all the documents ready, coordinating with all the different partners that we had to coordinate with. Our consultants who helped us craft our investment policy, taking things to the board. So he did a lot of that heavy lifting. So I'd like to acknowledge Randy Wolf, our accounting manager. As well as on the county side, we had to coordinate. We had to develop a memorandum of understanding with the county so we could have an organized process of making those withdrawals. We have more than $200 million that we needed to withdraw, so we needed a process. So we had to work through an MOU. And at that time, the director of finance for the county was Ben Lamera, so I would like to acknowledge Ben and his team. They were very forthcoming and helped us a lot in understanding what the county process worked and how we needed to structure ourselves and crafting the MOU, which was approved by this board, I believe, in August 2022 now. So I'd like to acknowledge Ben Lamera, who's now retired, and his team at the county Department of Finance. For the debt management, so again, I'll just give a little background for those who might not understand all the history behind that. So the two districts that existed before now, Sac-Sur and Regional Sun, needed an entity that they would use to issue bonds. And so they formed the financing authority through a JPA. So with the merger happening, those two parties were going to become one, which by definition, that agreement between them would fall through. But we couldn't have that because that financing authority has a lot of bonds outstanding. And so we needed to make sure it survives. And so we had to find, so in that process, our bond counsel were very helpful in helping us look at our different options of how we could move forward. And the one option that seemed manageable was to find another partner, but that was the next question. So I'd like to acknowledge Jenna McGann with Oric Council. They were very helpful in helping us kind of understand what the issues were in ensuring in how we would transition and identifying that solution that we ended up pursuing. So we were able to identify Central Sun. Through some previous connections, I had some knowledge that they might be interested. And so when I reached out to them, they were in fact interested. So I'd like to thank Phil Lieber. He's the Director of Finance at Central Sun. They were very forthcoming. It happened that our interests were aligned on this case, so they were really helpful in getting their part of things done so we could execute the agreements between us. And I believe that was finally approved last December, I believe. So I'd like to thank Phil Lieber at Central Sun and his team and his legal team over there in helping us revise the JPA agreement to make sure that Central Sun would join. And so now that we're one district, there are now two parties to that agreement. So thank you to Phil Lieber and to Jenna, our bond counsel, who helped us out. I had printed out my notes, but I forgot them on the printer, so sorry. So I had to carry my... and I believe that's kind of my mentions that I wanted to make. And thank you to the board for all the timely decisions that were made when we came to ask for that direction and for approval. So thank you.
Thank you, Tepa. It's a lot to digest. Are there any questions, comments? Anything anyone would like to put on the record at this point? Well, I just want to congratulate everyone who started the effort, everyone who worked through the whole effort. You know, as was mentioned, this is a pretty huge moment in time that we're on the right track here, and appreciate all the hard work that's gone into it. Thank you for the presentation. All right, any other comments? Anything else for the good of the order? Hearing none, we stand adjourned.